Okay, in preparation for putting the sheep out this morning, we've filled up the hay feeder. That's this item here. It's got a metal mesh which stops all the hay going everywhere. Sheep are fairly fastidious eaters, and they won't eat hay that's been spilled on the ground. All that stuff around it is waste now. So, but rather than just dump a pile of hay on the ground, we use this device to to keep the hay neat and tidy, and the sheep will feed from it during the day because there's not enough grass. This little reception committee is here because they're waiting for their breakfast. The ewes and the lambs are still going out during the daytime into the fields next door. They do like to set off with a nice bit of feed inside them, and it's now 8 o'clock in the morning and they've been absolutely starving ever since last meal they had, which would have been 6 o'clock last night. They have had hay overnight, but as you can see, all the hay baskets are completely empty. They don't really need food like this, but we do give them extra concentrate because they are lactating, and you can see the lambs milling around. You may notice the numbers on the side of the lambs are a bit faded now, and they don't come out well on the camera. They are, and that big bruiser there just sticking his head in yellow is not the first lamb we've born, and so it's about a fortnight older than most of the others. So we number the lambs and we number the ewes, so that when you come to tag them, to those little things in their ears there, we know which lamb belongs to which sheep. Now that's important for the pedigree line, so that we can say that this lamb was born from this mother and we know who the ram is. That ensures a pedigree line. If we were just a commercial flock, we wouldn't worry too much. We would just tag them with their UK flock number. Those are the yellow tags that you see in the ears. They contain a little microchip which enables us to tell electronically who they are. Particularly important for the food chain. Hopefully a lot of these won't be going to food chain. You see the yellow tag that has our UK flock number on. That's unique to this farm. And the orange tag has the other details, which number sheep it is, and also our Kerry Hill flock number because they're pedigree sheep. So these are all contained on a national database, which means that anybody with access to the Kerry Hill flock book can look up a sheep number and see who its parents and grandparents were and decide if that's the sheep they want to introduce into their flock to breed from. We run what's called a closed flock here, in that our ewes are bred on the farm and stay here, and it's just the lambs we bring in. So we'll see as time goes on. We brought a few new ewes in last year. This is a new one. Whether we can improve the status of our flock. Having said that, we are national prize winners a couple of years ago, and the competition has been run since for the best flock in our size. So I don't think we're doing too badly. Sometimes we don't actually need the ear tags to know who the sheep are. We recognise them. Each of their face markings is unique. They certainly recognise each other. They recognise up to 50 other sheep apparently, and they recognise humans as well. So they know that I'm related to food. A complete stranger walked in, they'd be down the other end, backing up against the gate, going, "Help! Who is this?" Sheep, of course. Anyway, I can't keep them waiting any longer, so I'm going to distribute the hard feed now. I can't film that because I need both hands, otherwise I'll be knocked off my feet. And by contrast, these are the sheep that I've just fed, and this one's determined to find the last crumb in my bucket here. If you contrast this to the noise of a few minutes ago, You see there are lots of contented sheep busy filling themselves. They're quite a high energy demand with lactation, so we feel it's important that we do give them as much as we can to help them. It certainly makes the lambs grow. Shown you the big bruiser before. Here's the triplets. They're still getting some bottle feed and some feed off mum. Nearly a week old now. So what will happen is that they will start eating similar things to mum. What's called imitation feeding. They recognise me as someone who brings them food every so often, so they are quite pleased to see me. Imitation feeding, they will try and eat what mum eats. They won't eat a lot, and it's certainly not enough to maintain their nutritional requirements. But it's an early stage where, in fact, you can introduce a lamb to all sorts of feed, and they will give it a little nibble, and what they're exposed to now tends to be what they like to eat later on. So if they never get exposed to carrots now, they probably won't want to eat them. A lot of sheep do like carrots, but on the other hand, a lot of sheep will not touch them, they just don't recognise them as a food source. And that, I think, is largely to do with what exposure they get when they're lambs. I haven't seen any scientific papers on that, and frankly I'm not going to write one. Mothers are all eating the hard feed, and the little lambs left their own devices. Yep, they're still skipping and running and jumping. And the triplets are penned up. Slightly bigger pen today, so they're running around and having lamb races up and down it. And the ones outside are doing what lambs do best, which is occasionally attacking a mother that doesn't seem to be doing anything else, and so they're giving a quick feed. This one's just saying hello to its mum. And it's possibly removing some of the extra feed that's got lodged in its fleece, because they are rather unruly feeders and tend to get in the way as the hard feed is being scattered. I'm trying to get it all into the containers, but they don't. That's number 17. She was one of the twins we saw being delivered, so one of the ones with the thick mucousy covering. As you can see, none the worse. In fact, full of the joys of spring. She'll be going out today. This will be her first day out in the field. I think that she is going to fit in well with all the other little lambs. Well, not so little lambs, they're quite big now, some of them. We can't see some of the very early ones, but if I can tell you that's 17, and that is one of the earlier ones. I can't read the number from here. You can see what a difference in size they are. All good. Okay, so this is the other end of the Nissen hut now. They've had their hard feed and they know what's coming next, which is a trip to the outside world and go out into the field. The lambs, or some of the lambs, are certainly a bit too young to go out and flourish in the sort of bad weather 24/7, so we rather pamper them by letting them out in the daytime and bringing them in at night. They seem to get quite used to that. Then when the weather gets better, we'll let them out 24/7. If we were a commercial farming establishment, we'd have them out on the fields by now, and they'd take their chances, but because these are pedigrees and therefore rather special, we tend not to. Okay, let's open the floodgates, and here come the sheep. And they just come charging through. And there's always a few stragglers who find it a bit of an effort to get up in the mornings. Yep, some of them more excited than others. Here we come. Come on, ladies, there you come. And you. Have a quick check, nobody's left behind. It shouldn't be. Nope. Right, go on. Go on. Go on, move on, go on. First patch of grass and they're stopped, of course. Go on, go on. One word from me and they do exactly as they please. Go on. Go on. Go on. idiot who tries to go the wrong way. Number 12, get out. Come on, go, 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 go. And here we are in a much quieter shed now. The ones in here are particularly vulnerable because by virtue of being young, or we need to keep an eye on them, like these triplets here. You couldn't possibly, although they are feeding from mum, you can see the little tails waggling there. We couldn't possibly let them go out in the field because we wouldn't be able to catch them again to give them their additional bottle. Or we might not be able to. I think actually they probably would come and find us. They're quite keen on this one. As I said before, mum's only got 2 teeth, so she can only ever feed 2 lambs at a time. And the risk is that the lamb that gets fed becomes stronger, the lamb that doesn't get fed becomes weaker, and so the stronger lamb continually pushes the weaker one off the teat, and then you get a self-fulfilling cycle of the weaker lamb becoming weaker and weaker. And here we are. Here's Twinkle and Little Star, and she's only got the 1 lamb, so that lamb has a choice of teats, luxury. And she's doing very well, as you can see there. Yeah, it is a... Hello, Twink. Twink will come to investigate the phone, see if it's edible. Sadly, it's not for you. And then here we are. We have some of the others still stamping there. This one hasn't gone out yet. Old enough to go out with the others, but it hasn't been numbered. So we need to do that later, but that's a 2-man job. And currently Karen is working indoors. And this is 105. She doesn't really have a name. These are also crossbreeds. She looks much more like a Kerry head. I think she's only about an 8th Soa. And those 2 will be even less. Their dad's a Kerry as well. But sadly, they are destined, I think, to grace somebody's dinner table.